Welcome to Baseball Blueprint, your home for all things player development.
All right, guys, so what we have here is our prep step setup. So this is something that is in the workshop phases. So I've got a dot here, I've got a dot there, and then you guys might be able to see it in the frame, but I've got a dot there, and we're trying to make that perpendicular to the baseline on the opposite side of the field. This is our starting dot. Again, in a perfect world, I'd like to set this up where our players are setting up in game. We just don't have the space for that. We're a little bit limited in how far we can go back and still test range. But this is what we're going to work with today. I've got these yellow cones that I'm going to use in my gate overlays. In the past, I've done a kind of like a frame mashup on iMovie where I can overlay two videos. This has worked better. So these are exactly 6 feet away from the center dot. Now, there's only one issue with how I wanted to get into this, and that's what angle do I film from. So we're essentially trying to evaluate and better understand range in this environment. But when I'm videoing this, if I video it from directly behind where contact happens, I'm videoing it slightly off center. So it's not going to be a pure idea of what our range is, because I don't necessarily want the player's range to be at an angle mirrored with the contact point. I want it kind of working together with the rest of the defense, and that's more matching the angle of the first baseline. So to do that, I think I'm going to have to video dead on. I might have to zoom out really far to make sure I get the launch of the double machine drill that we're doing. We do that to make sure our defender doesn't have the ability to just like dart one way and guess. We want him to be able to read and react to this. But we've got one ball shooting to his extreme right, one to his extreme left. And in that way, the randomness of it gives us a pretty good idea of, does he favor one side? Is he over anticipating, stuff like that? So I think I'm going to have to film straight on if I want to really capture his true range laterally as opposed to at an angle. But we'll see what we can do. I probably need to invest in a couple more cameras, but that's the plan today. We'll kind of cut here and give you an idea of what that looks like in practice.
For our purposes today, we're going to use the term landing for the time from contact or the firing of the machine to the first foot strike of the defender. We'll also use the time from contact to when center mass or the belt line crosses the threshold as our range marker. All right, guys, I'm going to slow this down into 1/4 speed. After the ball gets shot out of the machine, we're going to zoom in on Riley. That way you can see that he's landing post-contact. Ball gets shot here. We zoom in. This is a really good landing. This is a .286. Gets him through the gate sub-1. So that's really what we're looking for. Now, from your end, I'd love to get any feedback at all from... Does it make sense to have the gates at 6 feet apart? Do I need to expand that or shorten it even? I think intuitively, I think I need to shorten it a bit maybe. And then also the ball flight needs to be a little bit more extended. But here's an example of where he's too late, slows him down through the gate. Now he's going to be super self-organized here because he's seen more flight, gives himself more time to set his shape, but it's still not as efficient as that .286. But again, there can be bias here, right? If the ball's not far enough out to where it's like pure lateral range, trying to get that read is different. Now here's one where he lands too early, so he's not able to self-organize as quickly. So he's landing closer to contact, doesn't give his body enough time to get to the right shape, and slows down his time through the gate. But here's how we're taking in the data. And so there can be error here. I want to make sure that I'm very clear with this. I'm not working with high-speed cameras. So this is seconds count, and we can kind of zoom in. This is a free app, by the way, for those of you who are interested. We can zoom in, bookmark when the ball gets shot, and then go after that to when the first foot strike happens. Essentially, I'm just writing this down and then collecting the data and trying to evaluate, and then taking his range time through his threshold, taking where the belt crosses and using that as his range time. So if you guys like this, if you have any inputs, make sure you subscribe, reach out to me. And again, for those of you who are interested with the X stuff, make sure you do join our base stealing and infield communities. And again, make sure to comment if you guys have any questions, and we'll get on that. Thanks.